Here we are, fishing friends, out on the coast for some wrasse mischief. So I've got the Ferrari out today, the HTO Shore Game 88. Any lure angler will know that that is one of the rods to have, and I'm actually quite afraid to use it because it's so good. I mean, you know, it was over 300 quid new. This was one of the first production models. I believe Henry had this before me, Henry Gilby, and then it came to me and it didn't leave me. I wouldn't let it go because it was that nice, and George was very kind. So yeah, so got the old Ferrari out today, the Shore Game 88, and my nice little Stradic reel there, look. So today's tip is SP rigging, so soft plastic rigging. So quite a few people not sure how to do it. I've had quite a few messages on how you put these soft plastics on that you're selling in the shop, blah blah blah. So here we are. So I've just got hold of a load of nice soft plastics from my shop from Rooney's Fishing Supplies. There you go, look. And yeah, you've all seen these bulb tails. I'll just turn the packet around there, look. So Cheeky Girl's filming today. She's doing a great job. So there's the bulb tails, look, and that's the sort of 5.25 inch version. So that's good for a wrasse, it's good for bass. You know, twitching these in the gullies, they're really, really good, natural colours. And then you've got obviously like the nice bass candy there, look. And these aren't the biggest ones, they go to this size and they're quite fat. So that's the solid white colour there, look, from Rooney's. So they'll be really good in a gully or out for a bass. And yeah, so I've got my lure box here today. Various wrasse lures in there. You know, I do use SPs, but I also use bait as well. I use prawn, Texas rig. So yeah, it's still lure fishing if you like, but with a prawn. You know, it works really well for me and my clients. So yeah, so check these out. These are the little Rooney's Neds. So they're the 3-inch 4 gram. It's called a Ned, right? And that's the core shot. So that's got the nice black core and a nice glittery outside look. So that's, I mean, wrasse are going to murder that. I mean, that's a really good one. They also do it in a tartan look, which is obviously a really good colour. You can see that one's already rigged up look. So it's pretty perfect really. I've got that spot on look. And with any of these sort of new skills that you learn, it's all about confidence. It's like anything you do, if you go confidently, you know, 9 times out of 10 you'll get it right, and then you'll obviously gain more confidence. So it's no different in this case. You just got to be confident, and it's really easy to rig these up. So I'm going to show you now. Right, so there's my rig there. Look, so I've got 22 pound fluorocarbon leader, just tied with a uni leader knot. Right, then I've got my little Texas weight there, and I like to use a metal bead there, look, and I'll just illustrate that. If I jig that up and down, can you hear it tapping? So when I'm twitching that, when I'm doing vertical jigging or anything in the gullies, I mean that's going to drive a wrasse nuts, because that's going to be click, 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 and before he even sees this lure or whatever you use down there, he's going to hear that, and he's going to be on his way. Do you know what I mean? These wrasse are very territorial, and as soon as something goes into their gully, it's almost like obviously it's a defense mechanism, but they attack and say, get out, you know, get out of my gully. So they'll eat anything that comes into their domain, if you like. So yeah, so there we go, look. So to go with these, I've got obviously beadless hooks, and these, hang on one second, up to get them out. Right, and I've just got hold of these owner hooks. They're obviously really expensive, cutting point, but that's what I'm selling with my SPs. Rooney's was kind enough to let me have some of these because the order was short from owner. But I mean, these are fantastic hooks, you know, they're very strong, they're obviously mentally sharp. So yeah, so that's what I've got on here. I've got a cutting point owner 10 wide gate plus there, look. And here's my little Ned, my little core shot there, look. Right, so let's do this, shall we? So it's dead easy, right? So obviously you've got the point of the hook and you've got the head of the lure there. So all I do is I'll go in the middle, and this is quite tricky for me because it's sunny and I haven't got my reading glasses. So you just go in the middle and then straight out the side like that. Okay. So that's you gone in and out of the head, right? And then all you do is you pull this down, right? Turn him around at the same time. You're turning around and you're pulling that right to the end of the hook there. Let's see. So now look, we've got a situation where it's half rigged. So I mean, these lures come with ribs and they've got little sparkles on, and what you need to do is where you've got to come through with a point, which is where my thumb ends here, look. So that's where you're going to aim to go up underneath the jelly part of this lure and come out the top, right? And if you can see, there's sparkles along there, and sometimes I'll line it up with a particular sparkly bit or a particular rib. In this case, I'm just going to see how we go. So I know that I've got to go right to my thumbnail. So what I'll do is I'll go right back to my thumbnail. There was a sparkly bit just there. I think that's the right one. And then I'll just come through, and that's come through absolutely perfect, look. So that's really well rigged. And another thing you can do here is, before you send this out, before you actually send it and start twitching it, is you can just see the hook's just proud there, look. I mean, that's a pretty good job there. There's not much I've done wrong there. But for an added protection, look, if you pull the lure back a little bit and just point that hook into the soft plastic, so that's right in the plastic there now. So imagine that's going through weeds and kelp and everything like that. And look, it can't catch your finger, and it's not going to catch the rocks, look. So that's a really good, that's a really good method there. That's just, and what happens is a wrasse will come along, and when he actually bites down on that, you'll see that hook? So the hook just came out of the lure, and that's now going into my finger. So that would be going right into the wrasse's mouth and hopefully hooking up. So that's what happens. So I'll just show you that again. If you pull the lure forward a little bit, stretch it, and push the point in again there, look. So there you go. That's totally weedless, and that's going to go through the gullies really nice. Twitch, 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 and that's going to catch you some really nice ballon wrasse. So there you go. That's my tip for today. Rigging a soft plastic. So there you go. Wonderful. So I think on that note, it's about time we went down and give these little babies a go. So yeah, tight lines, guys. That's how you do it. Cheers. Right, so let's have this close up again, just in case you missed it, right? Because it's really sunny here and we're having a bit of trouble focusing, etc. So I'm going to use this yellow top as the background. So Cheeky's going to sort of zoom in on that. So how's that looking there? Good? Right, okay. So as I said before, it's just a confidence thing, right? So obviously that's the head of the lure and that's the tail down. Try not to move. Right, so all you do is, that's the head of the lure. So right in the middle, and then straight out the side like that. Okay, so you're going to come through like that. So as I push down, as I pull this hook down now, I turn it around. Okay, and then just pull it right up to the top eye of the hook. So at the moment, you've got that, and it's half rigged. So I just turn this around so you can see what's going on. So that's not in the lure yet, yeah? So that's sort of half rigged. So, right, so the next bit is, as I've said before, if I try and do this maybe on its side like that, you might be able to see it. Right, you need to line it up, right? You need to line this up with a sparkle or a little, these are ribbed, these lures, so I can see there's two sparkles there, so I'm going to go for in the middle of those. So there's my thumb as a marker, look. So I'm just going to go right back and confidently find that mark. Hang on, I've lost it. There it is. There, and right up through the lure, and there you go, look. So that is pretty good, and even the fly thought so. There, I might check. So there you go. So that's it rigged. Can you see that? Nice. Yes. Right, and another little added thing, look, if you want this to go right into the lure, all you do is you pull back this plastic and then just pop that point in, look. So look, you push the plastic one way and then you point the hook in like that, look, and that's completely weedless. That can go through the gullies and the kelp, and then Mr. Wrasse bites down and he's going to get that hook right in his lip. So there you go, that's how to rig a soft plastic done. So there we go, that's the soft plastic nicely rigged, so I'm really happy with that. So obviously now we're going to go down and twitch these babies through the gully. And just one more thing before we finish here, guys. Now, for the last few years, I have been using a keep mat. Right, now these things were, obviously these are for carp fishing, yeah? So welfare of carp, yeah? So I bought some of these in from my shop. I've got my little logo on there because I'm a bit of a tart, you know? But it would be really nice to see a bit more of these used out on the coast. Now I'm not going to be nasty or anything or accuse anybody of anything here. You know, these things cost 10 quid, 10 to 12 quid. And you know, guys, you know, you've got all the nice gear, you know, you've got the nice rods and the reels and the boots and everything else, you know, and that's a lot of money's worth. But I would love to see you guys out on the coast, you know, with a cheap mat. You know, it doesn't have to be anything, you know, you could use anything. But you know, these mats are like £11, 11 or 12 quid. And you know, a few years ago, I was out on the rocks and I had a nice 4.5 pound ballon, you know, and I was on my own and I didn't have a mat, and it was a nice little rock pool there. And I put them in the rock pool and I was just gonna get my camera. And the fish started thrashing around a bit. And anyway, it flipped up in the air. Out of this thing, it flipped up in the air. And my natural thing was to grab this fish, you know, because I didn't want it to hurt itself on the rocks. And what happened was, as I grabbed it, one of its dorsal spines went right into my hand. I mean, a piece of spine like that. It was a big fish, and it was right in my hand. And boy, I tell you what, that really hurt. And it didn't stop bleeding for an hour because these spines have got anticoagulant or whatever on them. You know, they're poisonous spines. And from that day on, I thought, right, that's it. I've damaged that wrasse. You know, I've broken his spine. You know, I've damaged myself. You know, he's hit his head on the rocks. And from that day on, I thought, right, that's it. I'm getting a mat, and I did. Right. So it would be really nice to see these being used. You know, come on, guys, on all the wrasse groups, etc. You know, all the lovely gear, the rods, reels, studded boots, etc. So yeah, get yourself a mat, look after the wrasse, and let's not see any more pictures of wrasse on the rocks with scales missing, you know, damaged, etc. You know, these fish are getting hard enough time as it is with the bloody seals and the taken out for the salmon farms when they're young, etc. So yeah, let's look after these things. You know, it's a great fishery, and you know, I take a lot of clients out through the summer on the wrasse, and they can't believe how good the sport is. So, you know, I'm just trying to promote the sport and everything else. So yeah, guys, so, you know, for the sake of a few quid, get yourself a mat. Cheers, guys.